Hello everyone, my name is Peaches from Lovers for Healthy Life, and I want to welcome you to my channel. Now if you're new to my channel, I'd like to bring you along on my all organic garden journey. There'll be a button at the end for you to click, and for those of you who've been following me along, you know I've been doing some companion gardening, so I'm really excited about some of the results I've been having, and I want to take you on a little tour, show you what's growing. Also, my most exciting thing is the corn. My corn has been doing really well. My Three Sister garden is well on its way. So come along with me and let's have some fun. So a gardener's work is never done, so I came out here to get some wood chips today to put around my garden beds. It just seems like this wood pile is not going anywhere, but even though I've been out here several times, and also my husband to fill up his cart as well. It looks like it's going to end up probably turning into some good soil, so we can probably use this year and next year as well. So my garden is doing pretty good, and everything seems to be growing up nicely. A few emergencies, mostly around storm time. I have to come out here and put up some homemade trellises. I'll show you how I make some of my homemade trellises. And other than that, the garden is doing pretty well. And I brought my banana trees outdoors to get some sunshine. These are my dwarf banana trees and also my goji berry tree. And my marigolds are growing in really nicely. These are going to be really tall, some of them. And my popcorn is doing really well. We also had some bok choy that we also harvested earlier in the season. Now this is my second circular raised bed that I have marigolds planted around it. And then I have arugula growing on the inner side of it. And I have arugula that I planted all the way around. And it looks like I see a tiny flower that actually has bloomed. So those are really pretty red and yellow marigold. And I also have the corn planted around this circular raised bed and a sunflower that I planted in the center, and I'm looking forward to my sunflowers blooming. And in my third circular raised bed I have more arugula that I planted and also some corn along with the sunflowers coming in the middle. And these are my Phyllis blue peppers. I planted like 8 different Phyllis blue pepper plants, and they're coming along fairly nicely. Now these are hot peppers, but they are really tasty. And over in this bed I have my burgundy okra that's coming in really nice, and more marigolds. And these marigolds are really tall. Looks like we're going to be having a bloom here, but these are already at least 3 feet tall. So I didn't realize that these marigolds was going to be this tall, but they are really tall, which hopefully when they bloom they'll give a nice pretty color over here. And then I planted my bell peppers as companion planting with the burgundy okra at the end, and then also the burgundy okra growing at this end as well. And at the bottom of the bell pepper I have some cinnamon basil that's coming in. And my bell peppers are coming along really well, so I'll be harvesting some of those today as well. And then right behind the burgundy okra I have this deer tongue lettuce. And the deer tongue lettuce tastes a little bit like spinach, I thought at first, but I think it's more on the line of a Swiss chard, but not as tasty as a Swiss chard. So I guess it's okay. It's not one of my garden favorites, but it's okay. So I like to try different things. So my husband actually likes the deer tongue lettuce. And this is my lemon cucumber that's growing up this trellis. And I see we have probably about 100 of these yellow flowers, but I don't actually see the cucumbers coming in yet. So maybe it's a little bit too early. I'm not sure. but we'll see. So I am spotting some lemon cucumbers right there, and I see one right there as well. So I'm not particularly fond of the lemon cucumber plant because it doesn't grow fast enough for me, and I like to try different things in my garden, so we'll just see how they taste as opposed to the regular green cucumbers. And next to the cucumber, I have more Swiss chard that I planted, and I'm gonna have to go ahead and harvest some of this Swiss chard. And then I have some Genovese basil right here, and my Thai basil, and also my opal basil is planted over here near the cucumbers, along with some cilantro. And my eggplants seem to be coming along pretty nicely. But hidden right in between my eggplants, I planted some peppers. And this is, let me think, these peppers are very hot. I believe these are my scorpion peppers. So I only have a few of these plants, but I just wanted to grow a few of the scorpion peppers just to test to see how hot they really are actually. So let me see if I can show you some of the eggplants that I'm growing. Let's see here. There's a little bitty eggplant right there. And we have more eggplant growing in. Let's see if you can see that right there. Wow, I see a bumblebee amongst my eggplants. I remember as a kid, I used to hate seeing these, but now I love seeing bumblebees. And there's another eggplant coming in. So I have various eggplants coming in throughout. So I have my eggplants growing in the center here with my peppers at the beginning of this row. Also some cinnamon basil nestled underneath, along with some parsley. And there's also a few pepper plants in the middle as well. And then the pepper plants at the end of the row. Well guys, after a storm, I always like to come out and see what garden emergencies I might need to do. And I noticed that all my marigolds right here were all laying on the ground. So I decided to make a homemade trellis. Now, these cable ties right here are gardener's best friend. Okay, I absolutely love these cable ties, and you could pick these up anywhere at your Home Depot. I actually got these offline on Amazon. But anyways, what I did was took two regular garden stakes and kind of made like a little teepee and tied one here. And then I took like a half one and took it across here and tied it there and tied it there. And that was just what these marigolds needed. Now, when I initially planted these marigolds, I had no idea that they were going to be about 3 feet tall. So I can't wait till they start flowering. They're gorgeous. So just wanted to give you a little tip on these cable ties. They're our gardener's best friend. And this is my companion planting experiment with my tree collar and using dragon tongue bush beans. And the leaves are nice and large now, and the plant looks really healthy. And even my dragon tongue is doing pretty good. I'm able to harvest some dragon tongue beans. And here's another one of my tree collars that I bought outside to get some sunshine. And I also did the companion gardening. That was doing pretty well, and the leaves are looking pretty healthy. And I also planted bush beans at the bottom. And my white noodle beans are well over 12 inches long. Looks like they're headed more toward 24 inches. So I may go ahead and start harvesting some of these. And these are my purple noodle beans that are growing near my corn, and they're really tasty. So these are interesting shaped beans, but I actually like them, so I'll be growing these every year. And my three sister garden seems to be coming along really well. My corn is already about 6 feet high, and the corn is much taller than me. So I have my Kentucky Wonder beans winding around the corn, and then I also have some squash that I just planted about a week ago, well, about 10 days ago, that's already up and that's coming up nicely. And you can probably better see that the Kentucky Wonder beans are growing up the stalk here. And at the bottom there I have some squash, and I believe that is some lemon squash plants that I planted. And it's been raining, so I'm going to harvest some of this zucchini. Did get a little large, but I'm going to go ahead and harvest that today. And I have some breakfast radish coming in right here. And I've been eating this when I come out in the mornings. And arugula. Now the arugula has an interesting type of taste. It's herb, I believe. And at the end, when you chew it, it sort of tastes like a peanut. And these are my bush beans that I'm going to be harvesting today. I have bush beans everywhere. Okay guys, so I wonder if you can guess, what do you think the most tedious thing in the garden is? Well, besides pulling weeds. Well, I think this right here, picking bush beans. Yeah, that has to be it. And I'm sure this is elementary, but to harvest the bush beans, basically you just pinch off. You don't actually pull it because you don't want to pull up the plant. You just pinch off the bush bean like so. And I usually pick my bush beans when they're about 4 inches long. Maybe a little, some of them are a little more than 4 inches, about 4 to 5 inches. Just depends. I like my bush beans slim. I don't like them really fat. Like this one's pretty long. It's probably about, let's see, 1, 2, probably about 5 inches. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick that. But see how it's nice and slim? And I think they're a lot tender when you go ahead and pick them, when you don't let them get too large. Well, it's been about 45 minutes and I'm still harvesting bush beans. So we got a pretty good harvest right there. So I'm going to continue harvesting. And I'm picking a few snow peas as well. Now, so far as snow peas, I like to pick my snow peas when they are thin like this, rather than when the peas are bigger inside. Although those snow peas, when they're big inside, are pretty tasty. Now this is my kale bed, and I'm growing curly leaf kale and also dinosaur kale. Now my kale bed is a really tough bed to keep happy in the summer months because it's actually a cold weather vegetable. But what I've been doing this summer is chopping and dropping. When a leaf looks brown or looks bad, I just chop it and let it fall right underneath it. And then also I've been harvesting what I can harvest. So one of the reasons I don't pull my kale plants is if you look down in the middle, you'll see baby kale plants growing up. So hopefully these will continue to grow throughout the fall season. Now my cherry and grapeseed tomatoes are planted over here, and we've been picking these off on a daily basis. They're really tasty. And these grapeseed tomatoes, I couldn't find the seeds anywhere, but I did find some grapeseed tomatoes in the farmer's market. And what I did, I saved back the seeds and planted them this year. So I'm really happy I'm able to grow grape seed tomatoes. And I have cherry tomatoes that are so tasty. And I believe these are rainbow tomatoes coming in right here. They're a little yellow tint. And also my beefsteak tomatoes are coming in. Looks like they're starting to turn red for me. So I'll be picking some of these beefsteak tomatoes. Now over here I planted some red hot chili peppers along with jalapeno peppers. And these are planted toward the back of my garden. And also I planted these watermelon cucumbers. Now these are really cute shaped watermelon cucumbers that I planted for my grandkids. And there's a total of 3 plants that's growing up this trellis. Then in the back I just added marigolds just to add some color to this area. And also the marigolds helps with aphids. They help keep aphids away from your garden. And this is actually another test companion bed that I planted. I have peppers growing throughout, along with marigolds and tomatoes. And what I did, I made like a little keyhole that I can walk along as the plants grow up and do maintenance on the plants. Well, some of my newest beds that I planted is this one right here where my garlic was housed. I planted more corn, more sweet corn, and then I added some honeydew melon as companion planting. And in this raised bed, after I harvested my garlic, I planted more sweet corn, popcorn, and also some sugar baby watermelon. I also have some flowers growing in baskets around my garden that I planted by seeds. And I'm not sure if I particularly like these flowers. I did also plant some marigolds in here, so maybe after the marigolds bloom, they'll look a little bit more livelier, but I guess they're okay. And I have potted carrots growing throughout my garden. My New Zealand spinach is screaming, pick me, pick me. So I'll be harvesting some of this today as well. And my butter crunch lettuce, gonna be harvesting some of that today. It's doing really well. I guess that little wasp loves it. See the little wasps? I'm not gonna get too close because they sting. And here are a few of the organic garden vegetables I planted and the benefits of companion gardening.